Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Morning After Recap Show brought to you by IrishSportsDaily.com. I am Greg Flammang. Notre Dame 49, USC 35. We're going to talk all about that. I have so much to say about the game last night. I was on the instant reaction show, but I was producing because I was in the stadium. I took in the game. I covered the game for Irish Sports Daily in Los Angeles. So I have a lot to talk about. I have a lot to talk to the people about. There's a lot of people. The chat is going crazy already. So we're going to bring up all of your chat comments. We didn't get to as many chat comments as normal last night. So we're going to talk about that. Everything about the game, everything about big picture stuff. Notre Dame is in the playoffs. They're going to be a playoff team. They are 11-1. They ran the table post NIU. Marcus Freeman made that a huge point of the entire season after they lost that game. He referenced 84 days ago. It has been burning him. It has been burning the team. They came through. So we're going to talk about all those things. So if you like this show, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. So whenever it is, we are going live. Some program notes. Links to the podcast are in the description below. Some program notes. We're going to be having live shows tomorrow. There's going to be a live power hour. There's going to be our Hit and Hustle show that's going to run on Tuesday. On Wednesday is early signing day, so there's going to be a lot of signing day content on our YouTube channel. Jamie and I are going to have a post show. Mike Frank and Christian McCollum are going to be going live as things are coming in. So there's going to be a lot of content on this channel. So you're going to want to subscribe to us. Check out all the content that we have going for you. And there is a special red alert Ge Wang of ESQ Clothing because Notre Dame scored another 49 points. Ge Wang is going to extend the Black Friday sale. It's going into Cyber Monday. So for the rest of today and in tomorrow, it's going to be running the 49% off all online items on esqclothing.com. You're going to want to head over there. Take advantage of this. You will never get a dress shirt quality of the quality of this for under $100, and that's what you can do with this discount. Go to esqclothing.com. All online items not eligible for gift cards. Use code ISD to get 49% off all of today, all of Monday on Cyber Monday. Take advantage of the deal that's there. Ge Wang, he texted us yesterday. He said, let the people know that the show goes on as far as the deals. So that's a big deal from Ge Wang. So head over to esqclothing.com one more time. 49% off, code ISD. All right, everybody. Before I get to the chat, I have some things that I need to get off my chest. It's big picture stuff. I was talking, we talked last week about, the moment that Notre Dame has in front of them. And I was actually having this conversation with Tim Priester before the game. We were in the press box. And it was, we were both nervous, right? I as an LA native, that game always makes me very nervous. And then he's been around the rivalry for such a long time. We were both lamenting, like, this game scares me. And I think, my thing was, I think it would be seen as a wasted season, but I think Notre Dame needs to extend Marcus Freeman no matter what happens. Because I think he had shown that he is growing as a coach. He is growing the program. He is getting the program where he wants it to be. And I just said, it would really disappoint me for Notre Dame to lose this game and to blow the opportunity because A, it's the rivalry, and that's, and it would be a bad loss, but B, for this football team, I really have strong feelings about this particular football team and where their standing is in college football today, right? They are a flawed team. We talked about that, how they're a flawed team. There are things that they cannot do, but that's all of college football. I think Notre Dame has a chance to really go on a run here and to be a major player in the playoffs, but they got to get there. And the thing about these games and the thing about having to play games where it's tied at halftime, you don't know how it's going to go, right? And I tweeted it out. No one has blown out USC this year. This is how it is. Like, you have to win the tight games on the road against your rival. When they're playing well, they're putting in new things against you to try to beat you. You got to do it. And you got to make the plays. Is Notre Dame going to make the plays? Think about all of the past seasons where it's like all those make or break moments. And you look back in hindsight and it's like, yeah, they made the play. They made the moment happen. They won the game and they moved on so they could accomplish their dreams. Was Notre Dame going to do that? When Notre Dame comes out of halftime, right down the field and scores a touchdown, right? That was a statement of intent from the offense. We're not going down in this game. The only game in 2024 where the defense was on the field with a deficit was the NIU game. The defense, for the rest of the season and all of Texas A&M, the defense has not been on the field trailing in a football game. NIU is the only one. They have been on the field at like 0-0 and given up a touchdown, but then the offense has gone down and scored. The defense has not been on the field trailing in a football game, only in NIU. And the offense went down and scored a touchdown. And they said, we're going to do it. Then USC went down and scored a touchdown. Or I'm sorry, excuse me. Then the defense gets a stop. Riley Leonard throws a bad interception, right? That I think it was a miscommunication. That can't happen. Notre Dame, the defense gets a stop right down the field. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was 14-14. Notre Dame scores, makes it 21-14. USC goes down and scores a touchdown, 21-21. Could have gotten nervous times at that. Notre Dame right down the field again, makes it 28-21. Then Riley Leonard throws the interception. Then Notre Dame gets the fourth down stop on a great play by Xavier Watts. Notre Dame down the field. It's 35-21. They take control of the game. Then the offense takes their foot off the gas a little bit. Defense gives up a touchdown. Offense, again, can't move the ball. Right down the field, USC, pick six, Christian Gray. Then another pick six by Xavier Watts. They extend, like it was a complete, we are going to make the plays that we have to make in order for us to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. That is what great teams do. That is what Marcus Freeman's team did. And the thing about Marcus Freeman is that man plays to win. He went for a fake punt inside his own 30. He called a fake punt inside his own 30. In the 2 minute, he went for it on 4th and 1 at his own 44-yard line with a tied football game. The game is 7-7 at that point. You can completely understand that a coach who is playing not to lose or doesn't want to blow it or doesn't want to make the wrong decision. You can absolutely see a scenario where he says, you know what, let's punt. We're getting the ball to start second half. No, he says, no, we're going for this. We're going to get it. And we're going to go down and score. And that's exactly what they did. He went for it on 4th down 3 times, made all 3 4th down conversions. He okayed the fake punt, right? He plays to win. He has found his stride as a coach. He has found the type of coach that he wants to be. And and his team has embodied the type of when you're as aggressive as he is, we're going to go for it over and over again. And I'm going to you're calling fake punts inside your own 30. Like that is a coach who is not afraid. He wants to go get it. And he's ready to go. And he has his team humming. They are Notre Dame. This Notre Dame football team is exactly what I thought it was. I said I thought they could make a run. I thought they were special. And I said it was the best team that Notre Dame has sent to USC in recent history, right? They're better than the 12 team. They're better than the 18 team. This team, and then they went and scored 49 points, the most points Notre Dame has scored in Los Angeles since 1966, the era Parsegian national champions. So, you know, I had so many strong feelings about that game. I just wanted to say that before I got into listener comments and questions. Jason Z asks, do we know when Marcus Freeman's press conference is? Assuming nothing this week similar to a bye. Hope Jeremiah Love update is positive. Yeah, we're going to see. I'm not exactly sure what the injury is. It looked like he had a calf problem. They actually sent him back out there with his leg wrapped in the 3rd quarter, and his leg was wrapped. They threw the pass to him. It was like a, 15-yard reception where he made a couple players miss. Then he went out, didn't come back, right? We saw him on the bike. He wasn't moving very well. And that's why I tweeted, like, we're not going to see him in this game. And so then he was on the bike. He was warming it up a little bit. Like in my opinion, and then they had like a knee sleeve as well. So I'm not exactly sure what the nature of the problem is. If it's a calf, the fact that he was warming it up makes me think it's not completely pulled or something like that. It's not like a complete disaster. Because if it was really pulled and it was really serious, they just shut him down, and they didn't do that. So, like shut him down. You're not walking around. You're not trying to do any of this stuff. So I think that's that's good. That's good insight. But we're gonna have to see if it is a calf. I think in 3 weeks he'll be fine. That's just my opinion. They can get him going. He doesn't have to do anything. The next time we're going to hear from Marcus Freeman is Wednesday because it's going to be signing day. So I don't know if he'll address the actual team at that point, but we'll see. He was not asked about it, or he didn't discuss it. You're not supposed to talk about injuries, so but he didn't discuss it in the post-game press conference. CFB Hertz says, upon further review, yesterday was effing awesome. It absolutely was. It was very fun to be a part of. Abe Froman, Sausage King of Chicago, asks, Greg, how much of the D giving up 500 plus yards yesterday was them having an off day versus Notre Dame having the top rated pass D because they played a lot of bad teams up to now? So some context on that. First of all, so USC yesterday by quarter, okay, they had 4 first downs in the first quarter, 6 first downs in the second quarter, 7 first downs in the third, 12 first downs in the fourth, right? So first of all, the last drive with the total yardage, 557, like Notre Dame completely allowed them to do whatever they wanted. Like the game was over. USC was just running the ball. I want to say they ran for like 60 something yards in that fourth quarter. Five plays, 75 yards. I think 60 of that was on the ground. So 75 of that is on the final drive. So so that's that, right? So like 557, it looks bad. They ran for they had Robinson, their running back, 3 carries, 63 yards. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Jackson, 6 carries, 71 yards. And this is all basically at the end, right? So Notre Dame's giving that up, right? So I don't care about that. A lot of the passing that they did in this game, they're basically just throwing goal balls at Christian Gray, who, look, he was having a very rough half, right? Like he gave up 130 yards on the game just on passes thrown at him. 130 yards plus 2 15-yard penalties. So that's 30 yards. Another 30 yards, basically 160 yards of the offense is throwing at Christian Gray specifically. So 130, you're looking at 230 yards passing then for Mayava. He was 56%, right? He threw the ball 48 times. He's averaging, I think it was 7.6 yards per attempt. So look, when they're throwing it as much as they are, right, you're going to give up yards, and that's fine. Notre Dame gave up, what is it? Notre Dame gave up 246 yards in the fourth quarter and 9.1 yards per play. Like, to me, everyone was kind of complaining about Al Golden, during the game. And I was like, this isn't an Al Golden problem. This is how Notre Dame plays defense. If you're just going to if there's a player who's giving up go balls all the time, that is a problem. But that is what Notre Dame is asking their corners to do. And look, he made the play on the pick 6. He made another play on a go ball that got them off the field, right? He made several plays in the first drive. Like, Christian Gray had a full career in one game. He made several big plays on the first drive. He had the 4th down stop. He had another tackle for loss on the first play of the game. He had a pass break up there, right? Then in the middle of the game, complete disaster, just total disaster. He couldn't cover anybody. They were 8 of 12 throwing at him. And so then it was just like he's having a nightmare game. And that's what it was. Then he came back, made the biggest play of the game, made the biggest play of his career for the pick 6. So look, it ebbs and flows, but I am not as concerned about the pass defense as maybe everyone else. Because again, watch the game back. They're just chucking the ball. They're just chucking it. That's not a scheme thing. That's just them trying to take shots because they couldn't really protect yesterday. 36%. Notre Dame was credited with, I think, 26 total pressures. Let me just check here. Excuse me. Clicked on the wrong thing. I know they had a 36% pressure rate. So I know that was a deal. Let me check the game report here. Pass rush for Notre Dame. 26 total pressures for Notre Dame. 4 for Kaiser, 4 for Junior Tuihalamaka, 4 for Bryce Young, right? Look, go back and watch. Like Notre Dame was getting pressure on them and they just were throwing go balls. So, could another team with talented wide receivers do this? Yes. If you play a team like Ohio State, for example, if you play a team like, let me just think, Alabama has some guys that they'll just throw the ball up to, right? Like players like that, right? Where it's like, but look, that was kind of the case against Louisville as well. So like, if you're just going to chuck it, you're going to give up. You're going to give up problems. Mike Lebowski says, I thought the officiating crew was actually decent yesterday. Do we know how the crews will be assigned for the college football playoffs? Hopefully neutral conference. I don't know. I do agree that the refs were good. They didn't do anything. Like, I think giving USC the touchdown on their first one where it's like they didn't know if he actually crossed, and then they talk about it, and it's like, oh, it's a touchdown. Like he's not laying in the end zone. So like to me, once you call it a touchdown, there's no way they're overturning it. Notre Dame got a similar type call on the 4th down when Riley Leonard got it by a yard or inches. And they gave him a first down on that. It's hard to overturn that. On the first drive, I thought there was a pick play on Christian Gray, but live, it looked like a pick play. On the TV copy, he catches the ball behind the line of scrimmage. You can block all you want. There was I don't think the pass interference on Christian Gray. I thought that was fine. He was tugging his collar. I'm just trying to think of some more plays that were semi-controversial in the game. Honestly, I thought the tripping penalty that they called against Jeremiah Love when they tripped him I thought that was soft. I didn't think that was a good call. I think he tried to trip him, but he didn't actually. So I thought that was kind of a soft call. Let's see what else. I wonder if that's where he got hurt, actually. If he had, because they wrapped up his shin. I wonder if it was a shin problem where he stuck his leg out. That's interesting. We're gonna have to monitor that. And then let's see what else here. Oh, there was a screen pass that USC called, or they played where Jalen Sneed hit the running back, and way before, people were like, "Oh, that's pass interference." Again, it's a screen play, similar to the pick play. It's a screen. You can hit the running back at any time when he's behind the line of scrimmage. So that's that. So thank you for the question, Mike Lebowski. I thought the refs were fine. ND for life. What was Mike Brown doing on that penalty? So I think that the flag came late on, if you remember, that they threw the ball to Jordan Faison. It was a holding. They called holding, but the flag came kind of late, and he was basically, I think he was losing his mind, like call a penalty. I think that's what he was looking for. He was looking for a penalty call. He didn't call it. You could see him on the sideline. I think he had gone out onto the field. And I don't know that he was yelling at the line judge on that side, but the line judge threw the flag. Personally, like with the types of things that we see from coaches on a weekly basis, I can't believe they called that. No one really saw it. Like the TV copy didn't see it. It's not like he's showing up anybody. No one can see. But I think the fact that he actually went onto the field is why they called the penalty. It was a bad penalty in the moment, and he's probably going to get in trouble for that. You can't, like, that's a no. Like, coaches cannot cost their team penalties like that. Assistant coach specifically, like that can't happen. So he's going to get in trouble for that. But that's what it was. He had basically gone out onto the field, I think, fighting for Faison to try to get that flag call. He wanted the flag called on him. So that's what Mike Brown was doing on the field. It was not a good look. Let's see. Envy Irish says, man, still can't believe how well Gray responded to what was probably the worst day in the field he has ever had. To stay locked in, to come up big when they needed him speaks volumes. It's absolutely true. And like it grows for him as a player. He will grow as a player. The team will, the way that the team responded to him was fantastic. And look, he had clearly was going through it mentally, right? Like his body language wasn't the best. He I've been in the situation where you're a corner or you're a DB and man, they're picking on me. Like they're coming after me. And sometimes it's like, come, please do, like bring it, right? And sometimes it's like, man, I'm struggling. And it looked like he was struggling, made the play, the biggest play of the game. Tremendous from Christian Gray. You love to see that. Yeah, Envy Irish says, looked like he was giving the rest the business before he saw the flag. I'm sure him and Mills will have a little better I wonder if that's true. Mills the punch. I didn't see the punch until after. And I didn't see the punch till after. And it's like the guy was grabbing his leg. And so it was just a reaction, like get off my leg kind of thing. He thought he was trying to hurt him. So yeah, Sergio says, look, love injury didn't look like knee shin contusion. Yeah, like now that I'm thinking about it, like maybe on the trip he tripped him and he hurt his shin. So we're gonna have to monitor that. That's a good job by you, Sergio. Jason Z said another ND outlet this morning said it's a knee. We'll see. I'm not totally sure what it is. I mean, maybe it was a knee sprain like KVA. It's weird to have it wrapped up the way that it was, but we'll see. CFP Herd says Ryan Day's job status monitoring. Like there is heavily monitoring on the Ryan Day situation. That is tight, very tight. All right, Sergio says another Notre Dame outlet said it wasn't knee. No one knows. No one really knows. We talked afterwards, and it's hard to find out because like everyone's flying back now, and B, no one asked Marcus Freeman, and they're flying back. So in a couple of days, we'll find out what it is. Yeah. Get some more questions. CFB Hurt says 3 cheers for Ge. Absolutely. I have a lot of questions to get to, guys, because I went on the long little kind of rant. So I'm just going to go through here. When I see a question that I can answer, I'll do that. So keep sending the questions in. I'll get to them. Jason Z says defense was gassed. 200-yard pick sixes will do that. Not that concerned. Yeah, they were. First of all, they were definitely gassed. Not just that, but like Xavier Watts was beat up in this game. Jordan Clark was beat up. He was playing hurt, right? Like he was dragging. He did not look great. After the Christian Gray, after his long interception, he was dragging, right? So this was a tired team. We need to understand that. Like this team was tired. They were beat up. But look, it's the best performance Notre Dame has put out in LA since at least 2000, where they won 38-21. Okay. But offensively and then defensively, I think this 2000 team or this 2024 USC team is better than that 2000 USC team. And to me, that's what's impressive about this is I've harped on this for a long time. Notre Dame never plays well in LA. They don't play a good football game, right? This was like Notre Dame played better in this football game than the 2018 team did. They played better in this football game than the 2012 team did, right? First of all, it's a credit to Lauren Landau. Notre Dame's flying all over the country. Like credit to him, right? The way that they were able to come through this, the physicality that they were able to play with in this game, rushing for 260 yards, the way that they were. Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love at 8.3 yards per carry, right? Riley Leonard, there were so many questions about Riley Leonard and his ability to withstand a full season. Can he play the full year? Is he damaged goods? Is he injury prone? Riley Leonard gets through the whole season, right? He makes it through physically, right? And then he's running the ball. He's diving all over the place. He's flipping over. He's throwing his body into the end zone. You got to give credit to Lauren Landau for the way that the offensive line was able to respond in this game. Emil Wagner, masterclass, highest graded offensive lineman, highest graded offensive player, period. Didn't give up any pressures, highest graded run blocker as well. Masterclass from Emil Wagner. He came up big, huge game. Billy Strouth hobbled in this game. He was limping around. He was not moving well. So that's another guy where it's like Howard Cross doesn't even play. Ben Morrison, Howard Cross, KVA, Boubacar Traore, Jordan Botelho do not play in this game. And Notre Dame moves on with the injuries that imagine before the season, you knew that Ben Morrison and Howard Cross were going to miss multiple games defensively. Is Notre Dame 11-1? Like there's no way you would have guessed it, especially with the other losses that they had. So again, tremendous performance by everybody on the staff, on the team. Everyone get ready to go. it's a good it's just a good situation that Notre Dame finds themselves in. Again, credit to Marcus Freeman. Credit to Marcus Freeman. Other teams have not done this. It's a good job by him. When is the last time that Notre Dame ran a jet sweep? Should run it at least once per game. Also, fake the jet action at least once. Only motion lately is to set up inside run. You're not. You're kind of. First of all, jet action. To answer the question, I can't remember the last time they ran it. I don't see problems. I didn't see problems with Notre Dame's variety in their running game yesterday. Again, Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love went off. Riley Leonard went off. It was just a good football game. As far as they ran motion. They run a bunch of motions to try to get, like, they ran motion with Jordan Faison on that fourth down to get him open on that. They ran a couple. They ran a lot of motions with Mitchell Evans to get him open. Like, they run some motion. I kind of understand. Like, they run a lot of the same similar things. So when they run motion, you kind of feel like, I know what they're about to do here. But to me, it's not a big problem with what they're doing. If the variety isn't the issue, in my opinion. Envy Irish says, so happy to see the tight ends get involved. They're matchup nightmares. Yes, Eli Raridan touchdown, Mitchell Evans touchdown. Again, finding matchups, finding good matchups. You got Mitchell Evans on Bryson Shaw. Bryson Shaw is not a very good football player. You got Eli Raridan matched up against Mason Cobb, who's an inside linebacker. Again, it's a good use of personnel. It's a good use of formations to find those gaps. Chris Wall says Georgia got ran through by Georgia Tech yesterday. Wasn't a uniquely bad defensive performance that no one else had. Yes, exactly. Right. These things can happen. Georgia got absolutely destroyed, and then not so in the overtime. It's a bad job by Georgia Tech in overtime. It's a bad job. CFB Hertz says, I do feel like we turtled up a bit on offense in the fourth. Would have liked to see us keep the aggression there instead of 3 and outs. Yeah, so at 35-21 was the one where they went 3 and out. It was 2 straight runs. And then on 3rd and 5, they tried to throw a screen to Aeneas Williams. Again, go to Mitchell Evans in that spot, right? They had something there, and you didn't challenge the sticks. I didn't like that drive. The one after that, I just thought it was a bad drive where they tried to, I don't want to say trick play, but they faked quarterback counter, and they tried to get Faison deep there. They got the penalty, but after that, they ran the ball a couple of times on 3rd and 5. You couldn't convert, right? So it's not so much that they turtled; they just weren't sharp, But the defense came through, so that's a good job by them. Envy Iris says positive sign to see Cross out there, even if he didn't go. Yeah, like I was in the pregame. He was moving around some, and I was like, this doesn't look good. Like, first of all, he was one of the last D linemen to be doing the drills. This is before they put pads on. When they put pads on, he did basically nothing. I mean, and not just that, but when he came out afterwards, he wasn't even taped up. It's like, he's not playing. Like, he's not, like, to me, the way that he wasn't taped, it was like he's not even an emergency player. Like, I didn't think there was any circumstance for when he was going to get put in the game. So Erod says, any idea why we haven't seen the motion push pass to Harrison in a few weeks? Seemed like a nice wrinkle to the running game. I think you're thinking of the little pop pass, like on the jet motion. I mean, I assume Mike Denbrock didn't like it against this particular opponent or these opponents. I mean, against Army, right? Like, they didn't have any trouble running anything. Sometimes you just don't get to things. And if he didn't like it against this team, then he didn't. Envy Iris, 113 in the chat, only 21 likes. Hit the like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thanks, guys. Thank you for the super chat. Jay Lamont, Big Media is flagging how many yards Notre Dame gave up. UGA almost lost. Miami and OSU lost. Oregon, Penn State almost lost last week. 13, an ugly win is okay. First of all, who cares? And I don't mean from this question, like, I understand like people respond, but at this point, it doesn't matter. Notre Dame has done what they need to do. They're 11-1. They beat USC by 14 points. They were up by 21 points in this game. They never trailed. And like I said this on the show yesterday, now that it's over and Notre Dame has done the thing, I'm intolerant of Notre Dame being ranked behind Penn State at this point. If we come Tuesday and Notre Dame's ranked behind Penn State, that's a disgrace. They both played at USC. USC played their better quarterback. Notre Dame never trailed. They certainly weren't down by 2 scores. They didn't need multiple fourth down conversions in order to get the game to overtime. They scored more points offensively. They had a better offensive day. They didn't need to do these throwback, gimmicky, goofball stuff to the tight end in order to score points. They ran the ball better. They threw the ball. They made plays on defense. I'm sorry. Notre Dame didn't need overtime in that game. They did not against it's a similar opponent. You can't look at Penn State. And look, by the way, is that Penn State loss really that good of a loss at this point? At home to Ohio State, who Michigan just handled? Is that good of a loss now? Is it? Like, I'm sorry. I'm intolerant. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about Penn State. Notre Dame needs to be ranked 3. And here's another thing that I think is important to flag for Notre Dame. Notre Dame, with Ohio State losing yesterday, Notre Dame didn't need the expanded playoffs this year. Notre Dame's in. They would be ranked 3rd or 4th in with the committee without automatic bids. Notre Dame is in this year. They didn't need the expanded playoff. The expanded playoff hurts them in terms of seeding in the guaranteed seats. People need to be talking about that. Notre Dame did not need the expanded playoff. Notre Dame hurts them. It hurts them as far as seedings go. Chief Brody says, the lack of pass rush really hurt, to be honest. This is what I want you to do, Chief Brody, and anyone. Go back and look at this game. Again, Notre Dame, 26 pressures in this game. 4 hits on the quarterback, 21 hurries. Like, with the way that USC designed this game plan was to get the ball what they did and what they had to do. They had to get the ball out of Mayava's hands. They had one-on-one matchups, and he just threw it up. Go back and look. I watched the game last night, and I was like, man, they're really getting after the quarterback here. That USC did the thing. It was closer to like what they did a lot in that 2019 season when they had number 6. I can't think of his name right now. You guys will figure it out. But they had Tyler Vaughns. They did it with him. Number 6. God darn it. Why can't I think of his name? It really bugs me that I can't think of his name right now. But that was what they used to do. They used to throw it up. And Notre Dame or that's what USC had to do, because if he held the ball longer, they were going to get to him. Right. And so, again, there were at times when it's like you could get pressure, especially in the first half. In the second half, I just thought they were just chucking the ball. So Envy Irish says that. What did you see in regards to lack of pass rush? Had some moments later in the game, but struggled early. Go back. I encourage everyone to go back and watch. Seriously. I watched it last night. I had the same thought. Watched the game before going to bed last night, and it was like, oh, okay, they're just getting the ball out. They can't trust them. They're getting the ball out. Chief Brody says the commentators also weren't bad. A lot of people complaining about Nestler. Nestler was whatever. I thought Danielson was incredibly complimentary of Jeremiah Love. So that was nice. I thought they called a good game. Again, listening back last night on the TV copy, I thought they were fine. The thing is like those guys are old. Like there's like a lot of like, I'll just say kind of whatever, because I'm older kind of vibes with those guys. It was funny. I mean, there were a couple things where like they didn't really know the rules, which is fine. Right. Another game where it's like you don't have a rules analyst or, someone doing that, which is strange. Like every game, like the Georgia game didn't have that. Georgia game didn't have a rules analyst. I thought that was weird, especially for like ESPN, and the SEC is like their special boy, right? Their special boys, just shilling for them the entire game. Tessitore, what an embarrassment! What an embarrassing performance from him. Gosh, have some pride. Freaking standing for Georgia the whole time. Jason Z. Also, it was great to see Notre Dame win a game because of its offense instead of despite of the O's performance. Great win to pick up the defense. Exactly. Like it was a complimentary performance. And I said multiple times, like Riley Leonard will have to win a game. The offense will have to win a game for the team. They did it yesterday. Whatever they had to do, they did it, right? And look, for whatever it is, Notre Dame covered. Notre Dame doubled the cover. I think it was 7.5. Notre Dame wins by 14. So I thought the punter, like the no call. This is why it's weird. So Envy Iris, punter slamming his helmet on the field, it's a penalty. 100%. He's on the field. He takes his helmet and throws it on the ground. It's a penalty 100% of the time. You can't do that. No one can do that. That's why I thought it was weird that they called the unsportsmanlike on Mike Brown. Like, you got the Riley Mills punch, which they obviously didn't see. Had they seen it, he would have been kicked out of the game. I'm surprised that sort of thing can't be reviewed, by the way. And then you have the punter slamming his helmet on the ground, which to me, if you're not going to call it, don't call it. But then you call it on Mike Brown. Like, I thought that was kind of weird. It's kind of incongruent there. But yeah, Ryan says shouldn't have been a sideline warning unless he touched the ref. It's possible he might have touched the ref. That's the thing. He might have like kind of moved him aside, and you just didn't really know who it was. Chief Brody says, "Will KVA be back for playoff?" That's the hope, right? He was in a brace, wasn't walking very well at all, right? So he definitely needs time, but the hope is that he'll be back for the playoff. Yeah, that's what they're hoping. But he was not close. He was not close to playing yesterday. I'll tell you that. He was not walking very well at all. Steven Shulkowski says, could Al outcoach Ryan Day? He already has twice. I mean, look at what Notre Dame's done against Ohio State the last two times. Al Golden can scheme up a game against Ohio State, 100%. And Ohio State's got O-line problems now because their O-line's hurt. They lost guys. Listen, you got to figure out how to play when you lose offensive linemen. Notre Dame can tell you that. Anthony Knapp, look what he did. The whole season, 11-1. 11-1, true freshman Anthony Knapp. Tip your cap. Joe Rudolph, tip your cap, man. The losses that they had on this offensive line, Charles Jagusaw out, Ashton Craig out. You lose Billy Strouth for 4 or 5 games there. Look where they're at. The second best running team since the 2017 team. And Notre Dame is averaging more yards per carry than that 2017 team. So he's just he's just a big time. It's a big time coaching job by like 5 different people. It's a big time coaching job from Joe Rudolph. It's a big time coaching job from Mike Denbrock. Obviously Al Golden, Broyles Award. I mean, make him a finalist. Jay Lamont, Bo Collins dropped some easy work. Yeah, not a big game for him. They threw him one pass. He dropped it. It's not good. The fake punt. Marty Biaggi is unbelievable. Every time he runs these things, they work. And this is why, like everyone said, oh, you got to save him. You got to save him. The bag is endless. Why do you need to save anything? You're never going to run the same fake twice. Put stuff on tape. It doesn't matter. We're going to run something else. You're going to run some other fake. It's never going to be the same thing. they are constantly working on things. It's just, and not just that, but like, and the reason you can do it is because you always have guys like Jeremiah Love covering punts, and you always have guys like Mitchell Evans covering punts. Like that's your normal punt return team or punt cover team. So when you want to run a fake, you can run a fake. Like it's just, he's having a great job. Now, the Mitch Jeter situation. It's clearly mental. Because in warmups, he looked fine. He looked no problem. He made a 55-yarder in warmups with no wind. He barely got over the bar, but it's like 55 yards, right? Like that makes sense. He looks fine in warmups. The ball's coming clean. I was watching him for most of his warmup. He missed a couple, but they were from distance. Certainly nothing from the middle of the field from 27 yards. It's a chip shot, right? It's mental. He's in his head. Right. And look at maybe the distance will help him. And when I say distance, I mean the 3 weeks where he has to come. Maybe he can get that groin healthy. Maybe he's still worried about it. Maybe he can get something worked out. They got through the season with the kicking being as bad as it is right now. Couldn't make a 27-yard field goal. CFB Hertz says, I saw Collins blocking his man 30 yards downfield on the Love hurdle play. To be honest, I thought you got to hold that block for longer. If you watch it from the end zone cam, you see like he turns around and he kind of just gives it up. Then his man comes in. If he actually holds him and keeps him on the sideline, he might score on that. So, I mean, look, he's good. He gives good effort on most of these things. I'm just saying on that particular instance. Sergio says fake punt nuts in that spot. It's just wild stuff. Wild stuff. I mean, it's one of those things like I didn't actually see it live because I was typing up in the in my game notes in my I was typing up in my my running diary that Notre Dame was forced to punt. I wasn't even looking. And then all of a sudden I hear kind of the crowd make a noise and I look up and Tyler Buckner's throwing the ball to Mitch Evans. So I'm like, oh, okay. So Chief Brody says Jaden Thomas fumble was bad. It was certainly a bad moment. It changed the game. The only thing you can say, the ball was not in a bad spot. The only thing you can say is you got to be aware in that type of situation where the defense is going to be coming from. They're going to be coming from behind you, right? Because someone's in front of you. There's obviously a corner over here. So you got to know they're going to be coming from behind. On your back a little bit. It looked to me like the helmet got on the elbow. And maybe it's like the thing at the doctor, right? If you get hit on the elbow, your elbow is going to move. It's like an involuntary movement. Maybe that's what happened. It looked like the helmet got right on the elbow, and that caused the ball to go up in the air. So, I feel bad for him. Like Jaden Thomas plays his butt off all the time. I feel bad. He had a catch right before that. They had thrown the ball in 2 consecutive plays. I feel bad for him. He's a great kid, and he's a good football player, and he's helped Notre Dame. I'm glad it worked out, right? Because I don't want him to feel like a fumble and a loss cost him something, right? They put him in the game after that. Let me see how many snaps he got. They hadn't played him for a long time, but they did put him in the game after that on some things. Jaden Thomas got 7 snaps. I mean, we would have had for a lot more. He would have been on for a lot more if that hadn't happened. That's unfortunate. Chris Mitchell, 30. Faison, 31. Greathouse, 33. Bo Collins, 55, right? It wouldn't have been 55 for Bo Collins if Jaden Thomas hadn't fumbled. And it's unfortunate. Rajon says, how did Drake Bowen know exactly what SC was going to do on that run play? He definitely had a good idea, right? So that's a good job by him. That's good scouting, right? I mean, it's intelligent play from him in the moment. That's good scouting from Notre Dame. Obviously, they had some check where they knew what the check was going to be. They brought a Don Schuler down. I thought Al Golden kind of baited them a little bit, where he had Xavier Watts in the box, moved him out of the box. SC thought, oh, they're going to play back on this 3rd and 10. So let's run the ball. Instead, he dropped a Don Schuler down. Brought him into the box. You brought Drake Bowen into the box. They didn't have the numbers. They ran for 3 yards. Speaking of that play, though, That was a great play by Jalen Sneed. Blows up the blocker, beats the blocker, and then he comes over to help him making the tackle. I thought he played. Listen, we need to talk about Jalen Sneed in this game. 79 total snaps for the defense, I believe. Yeah, 79 total snaps. Jalen Sneed played 41 of those snaps, and he came up with five tackles. He had 4 assisted tackles, but 5 tackles there. I thought Jalen Sneed gave them good minutes. And again, a credit to him. He was in there on the Christian Gray interception, right? He's running down the field trying to make a block. Again, credit to him. Things did not look good post Louisville. He came back, and he has been a very, very helpful player for Notre Dame. He was huge against the academies. He played a key role in this game, made some big plays. He made some athletic plays in this game. Credit to him. Again, KVA can't play. Bigger role for Jalen Sneed, and he goes out there and does the thing. Drake Bowen and Jack Kaiser both get 60 snaps, so they were the leaders. Jaden Osbury, 21 snaps. Jalen Sneed, 41 snaps. Like, Jalen Sneed almost doubled up the snaps of Jaden Osbury. That's how much they think of the way he's playing right now. So I want to give credit to him. Again, credit to Drake Bowen. He has been a stalwart for Notre Dame this year. Chief Brody says, can we discuss the Riley Leonard pick? What do you want to, I mean, it looked like miscommunication, right? He's not throwing it there. I think he thinks he's going to run like either a skinny post or some sort of comeback route. And I think mid-play, he realized, like mid-throw, I think he realized, like, this isn't going the way I want. And it was just, I mean, it's a terrible play. It's terrible. Yeah, I mean, and everyone's thinking, here we go again, I'm sure. It's just the way it is. Gordon Butler says Leonard Moore looked great out there. Leonard Moore, on the game, they were 2 of 10 throwing at him for 27 yards. The last catch and the touchdown came on literally their last offensive play, like the most garbage time play you could ever come up with. So before that, 1 of 9, 19 yards, 5 passes broken up, credited. Absolute star. Just an absolute star out there. I mean, when especially when they are trying to throw these go balls, and they're just trying to throw the ball up. It wasn't happening for them. I want to see if you can see the depth of target on the passes that they threw at Leonard Moore. That's unbelievable. 2 of 10. No, it's not showing that. It's not showing excuse me, average depth of target, 12 yards. So they threw some short passes at him. He shut it down. 12 yards on him. Christian Gray, average depth of target, 14 yards. I mean, they were feeding on him. Leonard Moore, 5 passes broken up. They got him for forced incompletions here. So that PFF kind of grades it a different way. They judge forced incompletions differently than, but basically 5 plays that he got his hands on or he affected. Just a star. He's going to be a star, especially at his size and his length. For the season, he is at coverage grade 17 of 36 against, 47%. Just an unbelievable player. 2 interceptions, 4 passes broken up. 63 NFL grade against. Next year he's going to be their best corner. I think he's going to be better than Christian Gray next year. And Christian Gray's good. Rajon says, what was the tip-off on the thing? It must have been the check that the USC was making on that play. He obviously had a read on the check that they were making. So, S Rock, thank you for the comment. Notre Dame wins this game because of the positivity nature of Freeman's coaching. They lose this very type of game under BK. I mean, I don't know about like BK comparisons. What I will say is I think Marcus Freeman, there's definitely a proof of concept-ish thing with him going on where post NIU, he had an idea of how he wanted to handle that, and it absolutely worked. They got better as the year went on. They were able to feed off the loss. He said that, I'm going to remind you of this every single day. I never want to feel this pain again. It's going to be the best thing that ever happened to us because we will remember that pain. We never want to relive that pain, and we are not going to relive that pain. And it absolutely worked out for them. It absolutely worked. He hit the right button at the right time. And it's so credit to him for that. There's no way that, you push these buttons and you don't know if they're going to work. And it absolutely worked. He did a great job. This is an A1 head coaching job. And listeners of this particular show will know that I got a question asked of me post NIU. Someone asked me, have I lost faith in Marcus Freeman? My answer was yes. I did not think this would happen. I did not. I said the one thing that I can guarantee is that they will lose again in the regular season. And they didn't. And he obviously showed me something. I think he showed a lot of fans something. I think he obviously showed the administration something. He will be extended. 100% he will be extended as he should. He should be the face of this program for a very long time, for as long as they can have him. A1 coaching job by Marcus Freeman this year. 100%. They are playing better. They are playing better than any Notre Dame team of the Kelly era. The offense is better. The defense is better. They have played better in big games than any Kelly team of that era. It's 100% true. They are a better version of any of those Kelly teams. I 100% believe that. Byron Boyce. This is a good callback. Good job by you, Byron. This is a good callback. Greg, you were right. Mr. Love is about that life. We said it. I said this a ton last year. He didn't, and the funny thing is Jeremiah Love had like very few explosive plays last year, but he was about that life. He wanted to be a complete running back. It was very important to him that he was a complete running back, and he wanted all the tools, and he wanted to show he had all the tools, and he did, and he is about that life. That's a good callback by you, Byron. Thank you for your continued participation in these shows. Very happy for you, Byron. That's a good call. That makes me very happy. But yeah, Jeremiah Love, he shows all the tools out there, and he is about it. He wants all the tools. If you want all the tools for your media company, by the way, you can head over to VSR Media. Founded by Notre Dame football pregame host and Emmy award-winning anchor Vahid Sadrazadeh, VSR Media provides professional and cinematic video and photo. Whether you're looking for a collegiate or pro-level highlight reel, have a personal story to tell, or aiming to diversify and grow your business, VSR Media specializes in short and long-form video storytelling, social media management, and website design. VSR Media also captures professional headshots, senior, and sports photos. Contact them at vsrmediacompany.com. Mention Irish Sports Daily to receive 20% off your first project. Visit them online or give them a call at 574-800-9106. Chris Schreiber says Notre Dame should be seated no lower than 6th. Agree. That's a heavy agree. We'll see in championship games. I think they can be 5th if Penn State loses to Oregon. If Oregon loses, Oregon will be 5th. And I think that's right, by the way. I think that's right. Shanty Irishman says, yeah, if Penn State wants to stay ahead of Notre Dame, they need to beat Oregon. Agree. CFB Hertz says there's a chance the 6th seed is better than the 5. Either way, we just need to take care of business. For sure. There is a chance of that. There is a good chance of that. BG said, I won't say the name, but some analysts said Notre Dame versus USC isn't a rivalry game. Okay. It's a very different definition of a rivalry. They play every year, and they have for 100 years. It is the definition of a rivalry. Yeah, CFB Hertz says Nessler and Danielson were mostly fine, but they're getting old and they can't keep up with the names. You can kind of tell. They can kind of tell. Oh, Michael Parks says. CFB Hertz says I usually like Tessitore, but that was gross in the Georgia Tech game. It was not good. Like he did not cover himself in glory on that. That's not a good job. That's not a good job at all. Yeah, he was not covered in glory there. That's tough. That's tough. Looks like I got a super chat here. Matt Irish, thank you for the super chat. Greg, thanks for the coverage, analysis, and passion. Go Irish. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Hit the like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm going to be honest. It looks like this show is going to go a little bit longer than the normal time, and that's totally fine. We're going to keep the show rolling. I'm getting questions, so we're going to keep talking. But I appreciate it, Matt. Hey, hit the like, hit subscribe. We got a lot of content coming out tomorrow. Live Power Hour. Tuesday, live Hit and Hustle. Wednesday is going to be a big signing day. There's going to be a lot of live shows. So subscribe to the channel. You want to be a part of this. You want to be a part of this movement that Irish Sports Daily has going on right now. Stubborn Mix says, good morning, Gregory. Fine morning. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning to you as well. Good morning to all of you. If you're just tuning in. Stubborn Mix says, how hard will it be to keep the staff in place? It's a good question. It kind of depends on who and what type of job is Al Golden looking for. Can you keep around Mike Mickens? I think you got to do everything in your power to do so. I think the offense will be very easy to keep around. So you're talking about, Al Golden and Mike Mickens, probably specifically. What are they looking for? What are they trying to do? Max Bulla someone might try to snatch him up. So that's something, right? On that front. So we'll see. But I think with Mickens and Al Golden, and I don't think there's any way Notre Dame loses both, right? I don't think that happens. If Al Golden stays, you could see Mike Mickens leave if he wants to be a DC somewhere. But like he's pretty clearly Notre Dame's DC in waiting at this point. And they can kind of keep promoting him and giving him a pay raise. If Al Golden leaves, then they'll just bring up Mike Mickens. So I don't think they'll lose one of them. But we'll see. I mean, look, things always kind of change. Maybe Dylan McCullough moves on, right? That's possible. So we'll just have to see. Mark Youngman says, did we hear why Mills threw that punch? I understand. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, he was getting his leg grabbed, and he thought he was trying to hurt him. That's what he thought. Chris Shiver says, heard people in other outlets blaming Biaggi for the field goal issues. He can't help Jeter's hurt. Yeah, like it's tough, right? Like he got hurt and then he lost confidence. Like he was kicking great before that, right? It wasn't a problem. He was kicking fine. Like neither of the NIU things was his issue. Field goals have been kind of a mess with the holder and all those other things, but and the long snapper too. There was a long snapper issue, but just the totality of what special teams has been this year. I don't want to. He's done a good job. I'm going to do a good job. Just looking for some more questions here. Sergio says, did the arm of Riley Leonard get contacted on his pick? It did not. He just underthrew it. He underthrew it. He thought that Mitchell was going to run a different route. So Mark Youngman says, I'm still amazed that this team went from losing to NIU to the team that finished out undefeated. There haven't been fewer excuses to quit, and instead they became one of the best teams in college football. Not quit, but like lose faith. They definitely could have lost faith. They're not going to quit, but I mean, it's it's hard to, people talk about like, Notre Dame, they have room to grow and they have room to get better. Their ceiling is this, right? A lot of the time you say those things, but it never happens, right? It's hard, right? It's hard to actually do the thing that you say is possible, right? Potential is often never reached. And I think Notre Dame reached their potential this year. And I think they still have I think they have better games in them. They have a better complete game in them. But it's safe to say that they reached their potential this year, despite the loss. So, and look, it's a great job by the team. It's a great job again by Marcus Freeman. It's a great coaching job. There's no other way to look at it. It's a great coaching job by Marcus. Again, I think they're better than any of the Kelly teams. That's what I truly believe that. I think that, and I said it before, this is the best team Notre Dame has sent to LA in a very, very long time. Maybe since 1992. That's how good this team is. Ben Tarnowski says, love this team. So happy we won. Only thing that scared me, it seems like Al's stubbornness was going to lose us the game. No adjustments to their one-on-one with Gray and pressure not getting home. I mean, the thing is like the way that he calls it, you are definitely vulnerable to, if you have a corner who's giving it up on goal balls, you are vulnerable to that. They have always been vulnerable to that. And I think for him, I think it was just, look, I'm going to count on my player. He's been good. Christian Gray has not had a game like this at all. He's been a good player. And look, to his credit, Christian Gray came through for him. Christian Gray made the plays that he needed to make. Christian Gray made one of the biggest plays of the Notre Dame season. And it was because he kept him in the same coverage. They put him on an island out there. You got to handle your business. And he did. That's having faith in your player, having belief in your system and what you are. You have to be what you are, and they were in that moment. I just think it looked like it was touch and go. I agree with you. It was definitely touch and go out there, but he counted on his player, and the player did it for him. So full credit. Good question, Chris P. Which players who haven't played recently are you expecting to be back at full strength for the college football playoff? I think Cross will be back like pretty full strength. I think he has been banged up beyond the ankle, and I think that he gets a rest on that, and I think he gets a rest on the ankle. I think he'll be back ready to go. I don't know about KVA. I can't say, and I don't know the nature of Jeremiah Love's injury. If I had to guess, I would say he would be good to go. I definitely think Billy Strouth needs some rest. I think that's it. I think on the likelihood of being like full strength, I think Howard Cross is 1, Jeremiah Love 2, KVA 3. Just because KVA was, man, again, he was in a brace and he was limping. He was not close. He needs all of the 3 weeks to get back ready. That's my read of it. CFB Hertz says if Texas loses, they'll probably be ranked ahead of us. Same with Oregon. I don't know if I can get there with Texas, to be honest. Notre Dame has better wins than them, and they've looked better than them at numerous times. Texas beat A&M by 10 points. Notre Dame beat A&M by 10 points at A&M. They got the same thing. Notre Dame's looked better. I don't know. Texas's best win might be Michigan. Notre Dame's got Michigan and USC are kind of the same team. I think Notre Dame's got that Louisville win. Notre Dame's got that Georgia Tech win. That looks a lot better now. I don't know. I think Notre Dame could be ranked higher than Texas. I see why you think that, right? It makes a lot of sense, but it's just I don't know. That's an interesting question. We'll see how it goes this week. Jason Warnock says, I like Watts looking at the SC sideline on the return. Notre Dame has needed some of that. Reigning Defensive Player of the Year. I'm not going to wade into the award stuff. He won the Nagurski last year. He got his flowers. I think the overlooking of him is an embarrassment. Frankly, it's an embarrassment. It's a stain on the voting process and the awards. If he's not a first team All-American, I'm going to lose my mind. So who's been better? I just don't. I can't handle it. I can't handle that at all. Who's been better? He's a captain. They're losing players in the secondary. I don't know. It's just I'm not ready. I'm not ready to deal with that. Okay. Rajon says X Watts no postseason awards. I hear thoughts. Yeah. I just talked about it. It's a disaster. It's an embarrassment. And people should feel bad. Uh, Larry Salamoni says, "Hey, Greg, great job as always. Can't worry too much about staff since guys will only leave for better opportunities." That's definitely true. That's definitely true. And while you're out here, hit the like, hit subscribe. If you're having a good time, I'm having a good time. I don't know what this screen name is, my man, but or my person, it could be a lady. If it is, thank you. Denbrock not going anywhere. Yeah, I think he's hanging out at Notre Dame. He's going to be around for at least a couple more years. Jason Z says, if it's 10 degrees in the playoff game, feels like Notre Dame rushing attack will be fine and a pass-heavy team will struggle. Yeah, it'll be interesting if they get an SEC team up to South Bend. That'll be very, very interesting. Something to monitor. Brian Haney says, please tell me this team is different, not like 2012 with smoke and mirrors. Just the past is killing me thinking we face Oregon or Texas or another and we get smoked. I think this team is different just because defensively they're more competitive. I think they have a big play ability in the running game that those teams didn't have. 2012 especially, like they just weren't an explosive team at all. Notre Dame can be explosive with Price and Love and Leonard. And so, yeah, there's just an explosiveness. I mean, look at all the huge plays. And I count the long interception returns as that too. Like that's the kind of variance that this team has, and finding ways to score. So I think this team is more explosive, right? But look, and also like there's no 2012 Alabama either. That's the other part. Like the league is much more, college football is much more spread out talent wise. So I think that's a big difference too. Ross Ray said USC scored 19 on UCLA and scored 35 on Notre Dame. That's true. UCLA also scored 13. Notre Dame scored 49. Win. Jay Lamont says Gray is better than Clarence Lewis. True fact. That is a true fact. Oh, my man Jude is in the chat. Thank you for being here, Jude. Jude Seymour of the Earn 5-Star podcast and 1 Foot Down. You are the man. Which conference championship game are you most interested in next Saturday? Georgia, Texas. That's fun. That's a fun time. I think probably Oregon, Penn State, though. That's interesting to me. Because I think this gives Penn State like a chance to kind of shut everybody up and tell you're not a good team. In Oregon, are they going to change the 1 seed? That'll be interesting. Like to see how good Oregon is, right? And plus, it matters for seeding, for Notre Dame seeding. I don't know how much the SEC championship game matters on that front. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, probably Oregon, Penn State, and just because like those teams don't really play, that's another one. Like we already saw Texas and Georgia play this year. Oregon and Penn State don't. So I'm kind of interested in that. I think like Clemson, SMU, I just don't really. Who's the Big 12 championship game, by the way? Who's the Big 12 championship game? Someone answer for that. Me that. Jason Z says, how much time between first and second playoff game? I think it's 10 days, especially if they play on the Friday. I think it's about 10 days or 8 days, something like that. They get longer than normal. Iowa State, Shanty Irishman. Thank you. Iowa State and Arizona State are the Big 12 championship game. I don't really have a interest in that. I don't have an interest in Iowa, Kansas State. Let's see. Noah Dew just got here. Anything heard from Love on his injury? No injury. No talk. Tom DeMay, Watts locked in and helped his draft stock. Leading this team, Watts will get last laugh. Yeah, I don't know if he's helped his draft stock. Dane Brugler can't be bothered to talk about him. Which is weird to me. Which again, like I'm not trying to go at Dane Bluger. Like he said to Brendan, he can talk about whoever he wants. That's true. And just funny, like Dane Bugler never mentions a Notre Dame player ever. Just never does. No tweets about Notre Dame USC. Don't see him tweeting about Notre Dame. Don't see him tweeting about Jeremiah Love. I do see him tweeting about the D-line matchup for Texas A&M, though. It's fine. He doesn't have to care. It's just a weird thing, in my opinion. He doesn't have to care. Xavier Watts, though, good football player, and people should notice. Jason Z says, wear that Notre Dame gear proudly around LA. You know what's funny is I don't actually have that much Notre Dame stuff. But I did notice there's always a good amount of Notre Dame fans in the Coliseum. It got very loud at times especially when Jeremiah Love was doing stuff. I'm telling you, that guy's the juice. I said it on the post game last night. Never heard an opposing crowd kind of ooh and awe for a Notre Dame player in the Coliseum like that. Never. That sort of thing is usually reserved for like the Caleb Williams when he's doing stuff, or the Reggie Bushes. It's just he has a buzz. There is a buzz about him, and I'm gonna tell you right now, he is a Heisman contender next year with the way that Notre Dame can use him. He is. It's kind of shocking that his numbers aren't as good or aren't better than they are, just because like he's sat out so many second halves or fourth quarters, or like he got hurt in this game. He could have done huge numbers in this game. He got hurt. The Army game, 7 carries, 130 yards, right? Like they pull him from these games when it's just like he's doing all these numbers and he can't get on the field, right? They can't keep him on the field. He's averaging 7.1 yards per rush. He could be in the midst of just like a special season for Notre Dame. Had another 71 yards after contact this year. Let's just check out his stuff. 15 touchdowns. I think he has 17 total touchdowns on the season. I think people have been talking about he's only one of 2 players who scored a touchdown in every game this year. 949 rushing yards, 7.1 yards per carry. I mean, you give the guy Kyron Williams touches, he's up to 1,400 yards. You know, he's got 15 rushing touchdowns, and Riley Leonard, I think, has 14 or 13 himself. I mean, like the joke is, a lot of the Riley Leonard touchdowns could be Jeremiah Love touchdowns. I mean, he could be at 20 plus touchdowns this year, rushing. Just an unbelievable player. I've said it a couple of times. He's the Notre Dame running back. He's Julius Jones with Theo Riddick's feet. In his versatility, and that's like basically as good as you can get at the running back position. Jim said the O-line came to play. They absolutely did. 260 rushing yards, 7 yards a carry, 21% pressure rate. Big time. Big time in this game. Michael Hahn says the media is in love with Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs is really good. B, he was a 5-star. C, he goes to Ohio State, and he played at Alabama. If Xavier Watts played at Ohio State and doing the same things, he would be tweeted about a lot more by the national media. Same is true of Alabama, and if he was a 5-star. But it doesn't matter. Like, his production is his production. He is a captain. He's had, I think because he stayed for another year. Look, I mean, we can make the Kyle Hamilton comment. Like, he's had a better career than Ben Morrison, right? It's just like when you have the opportunity to play more games. Like, Kyle Hamilton was so good, he left. He didn't play the games because he was such a good player. Got picked 14th, and now he's the best safety in the NFL, right? So, like, when we say things like better career, like, I tweeted out Xavier Watts, no one's done it better at Notre Dame. That's because he's played more games, right? Like, he's had more opportunities. It's no shade at Kyle Hamilton. I like, and the funny thing is both of those players, like Xavier Watts for me, is a special player at Notre Dame because in 2021 when he first came and he first moved over to defense. I was like, there's something about this guy. I could see it in him. A safety knows, right? You know how they say a mother knows. A safety knows when some guy has the juice and the skills back there and the instincts, and he clearly had it. And it was just like, can he make this into something? And again, we talk about potential all the time. We talk about it could be this. I said at the end of 2022, like, he is right there. All he has to do is take the next step and just finish those plays. He had a lot of drop picks. He had a lot of missed opportunities to make interceptions. And I said, he's there. He is on the cusp of being a very, very good safety. And then he went and did it. That's the hard part. It's the hardest part, is that final step. It's the hardest part to make. Separates the good players from the great. And he was able to do it. I appreciate Xavier Watts so much. So much. Jay Lamont says, I like X more than Hamilton. He's physical. Kyle Hamilton is more physical than Xavier Watts is. And that's no shade at Xavier Watts at all. Kyle Hamilton's superpower is his physicality and his ability to come up and support on the run game. And I mean, that's his whole thing. We're not going to do the thing where it's like, Xavier Watts is here and Kyle Hamilton's not. Kyle Hamilton's great football player. Great football player. Like, from a talent standpoint, no one better at Notre Dame, period. Not even close. I shouldn't say not even close, but he's talent-wise, no one's better. And look, he was a playmaker. He was an absolute playmaker. We're not doing the Kyle Hamilton shade thing. Not on my watch. We're not doing that. CFB hurts. I just wish we got Minchie some real snaps this season. I understand Angeli is the 2, but we should have gotten someone else snaps in the last couple of blowouts. The type of snaps that you're talking about is the type of snaps that you're talking about wouldn't have been very reflective in Kenny Minchie, in my opinion. Like, what you wanted, we weren't going to get. I think they could have. I think like the throwing that they were doing and like against. He threw the ball against Purdue, I think it was. I mean, maybe in the Army game for sure, like Navy possibly, right? What was the other game where they were like, why are you still throwing the ball? I think it was the last game against. It wasn't Virginia, was it? Who was before Virginia? Florida State. They could have got him in then. They could have got him in that. Could have got him in that. FSU. That's what everyone's talking about. Jay Lamont says, didn't say he was better, said I like him. Okay. No problem. That's a fair take. No problem with that. Thank you, everyone, for the Jude Seymour says Kyle slander is not permissible in the chat. I will threaten to burn your house down, as Jude Seymour knows. I will come to your house and light it on fire. I do not stand for Kyle slander. And Jude knows this. Jude knows this very, very much. He's been threatened before. That's a joke, by the way. I don't want to get in too much trouble. All right. I think we're going to end it there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you like what you heard today, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. So whenever it is, we are going live. It's Notre Dame 49, USC 35. We'll be back tomorrow for a Power Hour with Mike and Jamie. I will be on the production for that show. So you'll see me there. We'll be back on Tuesday with Jamie Ueyama and myself on Hit and Hustle. And then on Wednesday, I think we're going to have live shows starting Friday. So last Friday, I think we're going to have a live show every day for the next 7 days. So there's a live show Friday, live show yesterday, live show today, live show Monday, live show Tuesday, live show Wednesday, live show Thursday for Hit and Hustle. So no better time to subscribe to Irish Sports Daily's YouTube channel. Head over to irishsportsdaily.com for continued coverage. And that's going to do it. Have a good Sunday, everyone. Enjoy this victory. Enjoy the playoff discussion now that Notre Dame is guaranteed to be in. Thank you, Joe Tessitore. So have a good rest of the weekend. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Keep hitting and hustling.